I started my career in insurance. Straight after university, I worked for Zurich Insurance Company. And there I stayed with them for about 10 years and I worked in many different insurance functions. I started my career in Sydney, Australia, which is where I'm from. And then I had the wonderful opportunity to relocate with them to Zurich, Switzerland, so the headquarters. So I lived there for 5 years, had a really, really great time. And then I also had the opportunity to relocate with them to Hong Kong, which was the regional Asia Pacific office. Whilst I was in Hong Kong, I was a regional risk manager for the APAC region. And what I liked about working in risk management was it gave me a really good overview for the full company, because you need to understand the ins and outs, what the company's doing, what the risks are, and how you mitigate them. So that was, my corporate journey, my corporate life. Towards the end of my career, I was feeling a bit like, this is very much back office, and I'm missing out on the action, like the frontline insurance work. And so I decided to do some further studies part-time whilst I was working. It took me about 5 years to do my MBA degree. And then when I finished that, and whilst I was in Hong Kong, a really good friend of mine was baking amazing, yummy cookies. And she wanted to sell them in Hong Kong, but really didn't know how to go about it. She didn't really have a business background. And I said, well, look, I've just finished this MBA, learned all about entrepreneurship. Why don't we join forces and see if, we can make a business out of it? And so we did. Well, the company was called Sugar Sisters. We sold our cookies direct. We had a website. We did a lot of social media stuff, and we sold through a few cafes. So for a 2-woman show baking out of our own apartments, I think it was relatively successful given the limited resources that we had. And then, so that was in Hong Kong, and then my husband got relocated to Singapore, which is where we are now. And so I followed as a trailing spouse, came to Singapore, and was, okay, I need to do something. I don't really want to do the cookie business anymore. I don't want to replicate it here in Singapore, but I got the entrepreneurial bug, I suppose. I didn't want to go back to a corporate world, but also I felt very comfortable with insurance because that was what I'd done my whole career. And so that's about almost 3 years ago now, we founded ANAPI. We are an insurtech platform, and we're really trying to help startups, entrepreneurs, small business owners get access to insurance in a much easier digital manner. And we also give a tool. We have a free software to take the hassle out of insurance management. And that's what we're all about. That's ANAPI. COVID in the business world has really fast-tracked the need for digitalization, right? But I even think before COVID in other business areas, small businesses are able to do banking online already, accounting online, like you can have your accounting in the cloud. But when it comes to business insurance, it's still so manual. You still need to go to an agent or a broker, and they're still very digital, lots of forms to fill out. So I still feel like insurance is a little bit behind, at least when it comes to business insurance. When we talk about personal insurance, however, so that's individual insurance, like for you and I buying travel insurance when we used to travel, insurance for your car. I mean, that's relatively easy to do. Like, we all know how to find it online, buy it online. There's even aggregator sites, so you can compare all the different policies and coverages. So I think personal individual insurance was kind of like the first wave when it comes to insurance becoming more digital. Business insurance, and that's where ANAPI is trying to play a role in. I think this is sort of the next phase. We're trying to find the more forward-thinking insurers, the people who understand, okay, yes, it's time to become digital. They might not have the tech for it, so they can partner with us. What I think is really important is just to be curious and willing to learn and try out new things. I think that really worked for me, and that really helped me in my career open different doors. the willingness to go, okay, yes, I'm willing to relocate halfway across the world, sure, for a job that I don't know about, like I don't have experience for it. I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to give it a go. So I think that's really important. And what comes with that comes part and parcel with that, is being okay with yourself to fail. Like, you're not going to get it right. You're not going to be an expert on something new straight away. You're gonna make mistakes, and I think just being able to learn quickly from mistakes is highly important, especially when you get into a startup environment where you don't have the luxury of resources to keep making same mistakes again. So that's something. And then in terms of proper skills, what's really helped me, and I think is applicable for any industry, any type of job, is to really learn and practice like project management skills. And I know that's a very broad term, and I think, it's important, because you want to be broad, you want to be able to be analytical in what the tasks are, you need to be organized, you want to have checkpoints in place, milestones, you want to have, analyze what are my issues, what are my risks coming up. And I think being able to work in this sort of manner sets you up for success in a way, because it shows that you're able to execute. And if you're able to execute on things, people remember, like, oh, you've done that, you execute on that, that's great. So now that you're able to do something smaller, you're able to take on bigger tasks. So I think just general project management skills are just so necessary in any line of business. In the beginning with ANAPI, when we were very early stage, we were still trying to find our way, like what's our product market fit, right? And one of my learnings from that whole experience is we don't have to be perfectionists to get the best prototype out there that works, like, that has all the bells and whistles. That is not needed at all at such an early stage. It's get the minimum viable product out, test it in the market. Okay, people don't like it, fine, take it back, let's revamp it, move on. And just about the pace, taking up speed and not worrying so much about getting everything right, but really just getting things to market to get feedback and then pivoting from that. So that was one very, very big learning for me from moving from corporate to startup. The second thing, the key learning, also alluding to what I said before, is about being open to learn new things. At ANAPI, I took up, with startups, you in a way, mostly wearing multiple hats. And one of the hats I had to take on was around product management. And I've never worked in a tech startup before, and my roles at Zurich Insurance were not very tech related. So, I just learned that, if you want to drive your business forward, you don't have the resources to go hire someone. So you're going to have to take that on to yourself and learn. So, I read books, talked to people, found a community. There's a great community in Singapore, women in product. Pre-COVID, you could meet up and everything. And I mean, there's still an online presence. So just getting connected, I think, is really important to, when you need to start learning new things and take up new skills, just get connected and learn as fast as you can and get yourself up to speed. And then the third thing related to being connected is all around relationships. And I realize it's extremely important just to keep building relationships, even if it doesn't eventuate in a sale. Not everything is about the revenue, the dollar money, the dollar amounts at the end of the day. I started to take every opportunity of meeting new people to, yes, it's one way to get your product out, talk about your ideas, but then get feedback from them, learn from them, get further insights, other connections. And I think that's really, really invaluable. And so every time someone reaches out and is like, oh, this is a great, I always think, okay, what am I going to learn from this person? What sort of opportunities will come out of this? And I think, I think those are the three key learnings for me personally from the corporate to the startup world.